so this is golden heavy body quinacridone nickel azo gold, and it is the best color ever. So it's great. It's a transparent color, and it is great for glazing, and it's just such a warm color, and it's, yeah, I love it. So anyway, it really, what I'm seeing here is that adding a little bit of just even this color, the black, really activates it to a whole nother level. So that's fun. And then this is just totally freeform here, and that's why this part is so much fun, because there's no worry about, at this point, like making a painting or making it into a thing or making it good enough. It's just loving this ink too. Oh, and I just got an idea. I have this kitchen tool that I picked up at the secondhand store, and it's a silicone brush, and it makes great marks when you use ink. I guess just the consistency is thin enough to move it. I'm not crazy about that, but you know, we'll see. Try something different. It makes marks in the paint too. So, and then with the leftover, you can just wipe it down. Let's see if we just take some more and just kind of, now this would be better if I dipped it right in the ink, but I don't have a container in front of me right now. And then you can just like put it on thickly. I'm just trying a few things, like making it softer rather than just the solid line there. You can just mush it up and make it into a big mess if you want. I kind of like the movement of that, like something crossing, going across and dragging it like that. Yeah, so this process is really about finding out what really makes you zing, you know, like what is it about art that is exciting when you do something, and when you engage in this process of play, you get to learn more and more about what that is for you, and it's being open to making mistakes, and just doing it anyway, you know, like, because you won't learn it otherwise. So I've just put a little bit of, I did find a stick of charcoal, but it's not very much. Just want to see what that looks like when I make it wet. It's going to run. So the interplay of the water, you know, being a water-based acrylic paint, you know, just adding water can make, you know, make something feel completely different. So just kind of putting a little bit of water here and there, and I like how that's running. You know, so I like drips. Other people might not, but that's part of it. You just, you know, I've learned that, and so they don't always look good, but you know, it's kind of a hit and miss thing. Trying to just something different here. That's this scratchy thing. I'm trying to be too careful, and it's like not a place to be careful right now. But I like how that's sort of not as solid. You know, lines are great because they're lines. They're not solid. And at this point, I'm not really going to the edge, mostly because there's going to be a lot more on here. But yeah, that's fun. This one and one more, and then I'm done. Oh, if I had my paints in front of me, I would be like getting excited about putting some paint on, but I don't. I'm gonna have to wait. Oh, but look what I do have. Oh my God. Copper. This is another Liquitex iridescent rich copper, it's called. and has a nice little sheen to it. So I'm just gonna play with this and see. And of course, you know, if you're working on a flat surface, then you're not gonna get all these drips so much. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna see what happens when I smear that around. It just thins it out, gives it a thinner layer. Definitely doesn't make me as excited as the quinacridone nickel azo gold. But look, I mean, when you just start dragging over things, and you know, it's so cool. And this is how the whole process, my whole process, goes. You just keep doing things sort of intuitively until you feel like something is happening, and it's pretty fun. I mean, it's not, the whole thing isn't fun, you know, first there's got to struggle and whatnot, but now I'm going to use some of this blue just because it's kind of complementary to this. I just want to do something different with it. I'll just use my finger, whatever. Now these are saturated colors, like I'm not crazy about using saturated colors, but this, for now, it doesn't matter. And I could add something to this to mix it. Actually add this. See how that, anything with red in it, it makes it, dulls it down, which is, gives it a nice color. I do like working with gloves because they're good ones. Because then you don't have to worry about trying to get all this paint off your hands at the end. Now I'm thinking, no, whenever I put something on, I want to scrape through it. It just is a thing. It's just, you know, intuitive. That's what I like. And see, what happens is when you scrape back, then you get the color that's underneath it. And it just, I love that little bit, you know. So it's just about trying different things. There, just wipe that over. I like how that looks better. You know, when we have white underneath here, I know it's going to look light when I scrape into that. But if I don't like it, you know, I can just smooth it down, or I can paint over it, or whatever. But like I say, at this point, it doesn't really matter. This is just pure play. So even that is a fine enough start. So I might just, well, maybe I'll just use a bit of black because they all have black on them. Get carried away here. Yeah, and just using black really is just a way to get the eye moving around. You know, white, black, it's the highest contrast, so it's, your eye's going to go there. This is color, so color is also contrast. I mean, color's great, but really what your eye sees is black and white. So it goes by value. So these the values of these two colors are similar, and they're side by side. So it kind of groups it together as a one bit. Anyway, on to the next one. I think that might be the last one too. Oh my god. Yes. So I'm gonna come in again with this thing, but see, like, after so many of using this, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not crazy about it. I mean, excuse me, maybe later. Right now, I'm just, because I've done so many in this, I can't think of anything different to do. So I'm going to come in with some of this Nickel Azo Gold and see what happens when I smear it over the black. It should mix with the black, although it's pretty thin, and at least you can see through it, which gives it a nice, yeah, that's cool. I like that. So this is fun. Okay, we need something more at a different angle and bigger, like, you know, constantly looking at things and going, okay, how can I make that more different than that? You know, if you have a bunch of things that are similar, then it's just going to look, it's not as engaging to the eye. And I like that for some reason. I do not know why, and it does not matter. So I'm not crazy about that. So just bring that down a little bit. I like things that are partially showing, but not like in your face, so you don't, you know, so you kind of go, oh, there was a line underneath there. Like there's some history here. And then maybe just try something different. Some lines in it. If I don't like it, oh well. And this down here is kind of lonely, so it might need actually some black, but at least some color against the white gets the eye down there. Yeah, and it's just starting, so I mean, who knows where it's gonna go. I'm trying just to get rid of the rest of this paint because this is the last one, and it really doesn't matter what I do. But yeah, that was, maybe I'll just, since I have it right here, put a little bit, just try a bit of that blue. It's one of my favorite colors is turquoise, Thale turquoise, which this is not. This is cerulean. Just trying just to make strips or blobs or whatever. This is my most useful tool. Having said that, you don't want the whole painting done with the same tool, because that is, you want to change your tools, because even changing tools is a contrast. And that can be, you know, that can be evident in your painting, so try to limit it, but it's so much fun. Just, oh, my second favorite one is this. It's the same thing, except it's got little teeth on it, and then when you have a light color underneath something dark, you can put these beautiful lines through there. And that is awesome. That might be too much of one thing, but anyway, at this point, it doesn't matter. There's a lot going on there now. So some were simple, some were a little more complex. But as you can see, it's just a process of response, call and response. What's there, put it over, what looks good, what doesn't look good, just keep going. And that's it.